That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, welcome to the People's Weekly. I'm here with Canadian Glenn. What's up, Glenn?
Good afternoon. Fuck authority.
Yeah.
And now back to you, Tim.
Yeah, we got bad news like an hour or two ago. Just if y'all remember the Occupy ICE camp, there was an activist there named Samantha Ruiz, and I guess she killed herself recently, so she's no longer with us, which sucks. She was awesome. Yeah. Too much all this death stuff lately. Just gotta chill.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like before we came on the air, I used a little quaint little phrase. All this death seems to be turning into a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. I got pictures and I think some interviews with her. I'll drop a few later on when I can. They're on a hard drive somewhere. I got to dig them up. It was like a few years ago. But yeah, she was like super awesome. She used to always grab my camera and be like, let me do an interview with you. You're the only one that don't have no interviews. Like, that's because I film the interviews. I don't do the interviews. But yeah, that really sucks. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people in LA know who she is or was. She was at a lot of different protests and stuff. But she was really, really huge at the Occupy ICE camp. So anyway. Yeah, I got jacked too, man. It's been a crappy week. I didn't get jacked. I just got my car broken into, and the 360 camera stolen, and a whole bunch of gear stolen.
Fuck.
It was really my own fault. You know, I got caught slipping. Whatever. I've been trying to, like, my headphones got taken out my other car a while back, and then when they found out they was mine, they returned them. So we'll see, because this is a newer car, because I totaled my other one, so maybe they just didn't know it was my car and returned them. I'm kind of hoping for that, at least just the GoPro, but we'll see what's up. If not, I'll get another one eventually, and we'll be back to the 360 video ASAP.
Isn't there any kind of way that specific device could be traced by the manufacturer, just like they can do with fucking phones and cars and everything else?
I don't know. I be trying to ping around different spots where I know there's thieves, because I could pick it up. I could turn it on and everything from my phone, but I gotta be within Wi-Fi range, and you know. Oh yeah, I've been on tweakers right and left when they come by a backpack, especially with fools I don't know. I'll turn that thing right on and scan them. I've been scanning my neighbors' houses. I've been scanning everywhere, man.
Right on. At least that's, something.
But it's probably long gone, man. Someone, I don't know. You know, your dream would be that somebody robs your car and gets a camera and then goes and films police and gets a bunch of them fired in the future with that camera. and then you have another one doing the same thing, so it kind of like, branched off unexpectedly. But the reality is somebody's probably gonna just sell it for $30-$50 for some speed, swap it out, whatever, and the person that gets it gonna use it for some dumb crap like motorcycles or porn or something. So yeah, I'll probably never see it again.
I never even thought of that possibility. 360 porn.
I was just being sarcastic. What people use GoPros for. I wasn't even thinking 360 the second when I said it. I was just thinking, well, I thought they stick them on motorcycle helmets and they use them for porn, right?
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, whatever. Things happen. It would be also even cool if somebody sold it and got like, almost half the money and got someplace to stay or something they really needed. That'd be cool too. But it'd be even cooler if someone's filming the police with it right now as we speak. That'd be awesome. I wouldn't even care. Keep it. They got a lot of other stuff, but that was the main thing that got me all like, oh man, why?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get the tripod stick for it, man. It took me like a month to order that thing. I got to do it all over again. Because they're all back ordered.
Gee, they wouldn't be from China, would they?
I don't know. Probably. It's GoPro where they made.
Yeah, probably China.
Yeah.
In GoPro City in Camera Province.
GoPro City. Wow, that's pretty special there. Yeah, it just sucks, man. This Samantha thing just took me off of that in a whole nother kind of direction. I really wasn't expecting that. Like, I ain't seen her in a long time. It's just, awesome people who are activists, people you think were like warriors, out there just fighting for the people. You don't want to see them go, especially so young and, like she probably didn't think what her future might be. Things are bad, but she's a warrior, so I guess sometimes warriors fall on their own swords for various reasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. Anyway, let's get into the show. Let's start with our sponsors, Something Happy. You can go.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Bubba and Blue Dream and the letter Y.
The last 3 day shows have been brought to you by mushrooms, and today's show is brought to you by mushrooms and mimosa wax, pink mimosa. So that's cool. Yeah, they took a whole bunch of wax and weed I had in my car, which sucks.
Fuck.
My little travel kit. So that kind of sucks. I'm like told they got like, that's like all the weed I had. But thanks to Dammit, man, I had more he gave me and I forgot I had it. So that was pretty awesome. DAMMIT. Like, damn it, we're live podcast. What's going on here with the Anyway, no, something happened with the Spreaker feed. Did we get a message in the chat? That's what happened. Yeah, it was you. Rest in power, Samantha Ruiz. Awesome. Oh. So anyway, yeah, so what's been going on lately is they're in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That's like the newest story. The police murdered this dude named Jacob Blake. Did I get that right? Jacob Blake?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and they shot him in the back on video. And all these racists and their enablers are saying he deserved it. He had it coming. Blah, 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 like they always do. He was a thug. He was a criminal. Just comply. It's funny they weren't screaming just comply at the Bundy Ranch when they had guns aimed at the cops and nobody got shot. Nobody screamed, why didn't they just comply? Not one person said that about, well, maybe I did, but nobody else did. There's a video now. Somebody said it was the same police department. I can't verify that right now. But either way, it was a American police department. They had guns aimed at this white dude. They tasered him. He ripped the taser out, started charging the cop. The cop turned around and ran away. Put his gun down and ran away from the dude. The dude went back to the cop car, jumped in, smashed into other cars, took off. Cop still didn't shoot him, nothing. And I've done a video on this. I was just telling Glenn before the show. Side by side, a white dude shoots a chief of police. An unarmed black dude gets murdered inside their own house. It was just a whole bunch of incidents showing like it's just not equal when it comes to the quote unquote criminal injustice system they have here. Or there in Canada either. It's pretty screwed up there. Just not as deadly.
No, not as deadly, but that's also relative. It is becoming more deadly. Twice now this year in Toronto police has been dispatched to basically a wellness check situation, and now 2 men have somehow gone off the balcony when the cops are there.
Oh yeah, I saw the one. They came up. They put a ladder on the balcony and went up and shot him.
Yeah, that was the first one. Well, that wasn't even a guy who jumped. I'm talking about 2 who have jumped this year.
Wow, because the cops kept moving in on him.
Well, who knows? I mean, this is the thing. It's all the cops got the whole fucking place blocked off. Nobody else in there. And, whatever issues these people are having in their own place, they end up jumping off their balcony to their death. And, what's the common factor? The cops. That's just, people, oh, well, that doesn't prove fuck all. Well, what's the one common factor? The cops. Okay, so it's a good place to start.
I'm just convinced these people, the super right wing people, want authoritarian dictatorship. They say patriot, they say democracy, they say America, whatever. But they really, really just want an authoritarian dictatorship, and they want to be on the side of the authoritarian. That's all they want.
But as history proves, these people don't think far enough ahead, because sooner or later, it's your turn to go too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they wear the shirts of what's his name, pushing people out the helicopter, Pinochet.
Yeah.
Pinochet, yeah. They wear these shirts. He was a brutal dictator, and they wear these shirts in support of Trump. Like that's what we should be doing. And he's friends with Duarte, who does very similar things, or at least claims to have done very similar things himself instead of just ordering it. But yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. What's up with these people, man? We want freedom. We don't want to wear a mask to take away our freedom, but we're going to uphold a dictator on our t-shirt, and we want a dictator. We want freedom for us. We don't want freedom for nobody else.
Well, freedom's in quotation marks. I mean, I don't know how many years ago it was that I first started saying that freedom now simply means the freedom to consume. That's freedom. That's the only freedom that's
guaranteed.
Yeah, that is advanced nonstop. Every other freedom, the ones that actually matter, they're disappearing.
Yeah, we have the freedom to give one of so many companies our money,
Yeah,
one of a handful
exactly.
of corporations our dollars. That's the freedom.
Yeah, and then they'll tell you that all those soldiers who have gone and fought in all those wars did it to protect your freedom to consume. Like,
No, they don't tell
fuck.
you that last part.
No,
The
but
last two words are never there.
that's right. That's right. They never say it out loud. But I mean, that's the deal. And, you know, I understand that not everybody knows a lot of history about, never mind their own country, but other countries. But I mean, you brought up Duterte in Pilipinas. And, it's easy for the media to do what they do, and people in the rest of the world think, well, whatever, he got voted in. But did he? There's just so many elections going on in the last 10 years that don't make sense. Because if I could just talk about sociology for a minute, entire populations of nations don't have pendulum movements in public opinions. It just doesn't work like that. The only way it happens like that is if there's a violent revolution. But for quote-unquote democracies, that just doesn't happen. So if you look at the Philippines over the last 30 years, first we had Marcos and Imelda, who were propped up by Uncle Sam for decades and became obscenely rich. They finally get the boot.
Hey,
It's what?
she had something in common with you Canadians, them shoes. And I was wondering
Yeah.
if "get the boot" was a pun. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
Well, yes to the second part. And then after that, it's a populist, someone who had been imprisoned by Marcos, who became the symbol of what they wanted their society to move towards. And he got killed. Imagine that. And then his wife, Cory Aquino, became the leader because there was something that obviously a majority of the people there wanted to take a chance on, wanted to try for this idea or whatever you want to call it. And now, just less than a generation later, they elect this little tin pot fascist who goes on TV with handguns and talks about how many people he's killed and how drug dealers should be executed on the street. And this guy becomes president of the same country where they gave Cory Aquino a chance to rid their country of corruption and heal from the decades of Marcos. So you tell me how this is possible, because it's not. Not without fucking with the election, somehow. It's just not possible.
Yeah, but it's just amazing how human right abuse after human right abuse on various groups of people and the all the Western countries are still cool with them.
Yeah.
Trump hails his name like he's awesome. I don't get it. He's a brutal, murdering dictator. He had concentration camps for gay people, as well as a lot of other people.
Yep.
He encourages his population to go out and murder people they deem drug dealers or gay or whatever other groups he doesn't like, anti-fascist, I don't know, whatever. Go slaughter those people. It's how is he not being denounced? How is he being hailed as a great man? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, in this day and age, nobody even steps up and says, for real, are you crazy?
Well, part of that problem, and the easiest way for even, the so-called Democrats, centrists, quote-unquote leftist, is just to do the whataboutism. Oh, he's just one of many. What about this guy in this country that we don't like, and we don't want you to like him either? What about this guy who used to be our crony, but he fucked up, so now we want him gone. So you should look at him. Don't like him. See, that's the common thing that happens all the time. It's just like Harry Truman said. He's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. That's the issue. And now it's media, not the government and statements. It's media that makes it happen.
Yeah.
You can watch some news that is extremely hard to get in North America, and it's probably not going to be in English, but you're going to find stuff about Duterte murdering people. You're going to find stuff about what's going on in Myanmar. You're going to find stuff about the Uyghurs. But you have to have interest and go and find it, because media ain't going to show it to you, because that ain't their message and it isn't where their money is. So,
just consume.
Infotainment. It sucks.
Yeah. But in the words of the great Donald Trump, it is what it is, right?
And it's tremendous.
I'm wondering when they're going to... I want to be really upset if there's some kind of quote-unquote terrorist attack done by somebody that's not a right-wing whack job or QAnon or Nazi or something. And it kills like 10 or 15 people, and all the flags will be at half-mast, and you hear about it on the news. But nobody cares about the 160 plus rising thousand people from coronavirus right now.
Yep.
That's insane to me. Don't even mention them. Why aren't they just playing a loop of their names and little blurb about them, with a little flag flying in the background or something? I don't know, whatever they do. No flag's been at half-mast, or it's like it's not even happening. It's pretty weird. And just to clear things up, I'm not one of those wacky flat earth QAnon jackasses. So when I say like it's not even happening, I'm saying it is happening, but they're just kind of not making it a big deal that it should be in the media.
They're not acknowledging that it's happening.
That's what I'm saying. If there's some kind of terror attack, a bomb goes off and 10 people dies, it's going to show their faces, their names, flags going to be at half-mast. They'll be talking about it to the end of time. But 160,000 people, not so much.
Yeah, this is a very, very tight operation to normalize what's going on.
One of these dudes told me it's fake. The virus is fake. I was like, really? He goes, you know how many people die of the flu every year? I said, last year? He goes, yeah. I said about 4,000, 5,000. I think it was 4,000. Almost. It was either 4,000 or 6,000. I was off a little bit. Whatever I said, I was off a little bit, right? But I was pretty close. Yeah. And he goes, no. It was like 203. And I go, no, look it up. We looked it up on Google. And then he just shut up. Like his whole game was just ruined. Like, wow. And I said, and we lost like over 100 and something thousand in just a few months. That ain't been a year. It'll be a year in like 6 months, 5 months, right?
Yeah.
So it's still gonna rise. These people are not, they don't. I mean, it took 2 seconds to Google something instead of. I've heard people say that before. I see it on Twitter all the time. It's like it takes 2 seconds. Is Google fake news too? Now, did they change the people who died of the flu last year and make it like 100 times less because they wanted to fool us all? Like, it's just stupid, man.
really think it's sad that, it's, as we all know, it's been 100 years since this happened last time. And I don't think we learned fuck all. What I'm seeing, like, anybody who considers themselves informed or up to date about the COVID pandemic, I think you have to admit the second wave will be coming. And it's questionable if there's even going to be that much of a lull between the first and second, because it just keeps going. It's petering out, but it finds that one little fertile area and spreads like fucking wildfire for a couple weeks, and then it gets stamped out. But, that's like guerrilla warfare. That causes damage. It's not all up in your face, but it's always going on. It's like mosquito bites instead of the alligator. So, and the reason I think people are buying this bullshit is because they don't want to look it up. They like what they hear. That's it. That is the whole deal. My feels agree, and that's it.
I don't know. I've been under a lot of stuff. But do we talk about this last week when I said that moves really, really fast? Like, did I talk about how this little Crip dude I know, I seen him, the last time I seen him was maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I saw him last week, and he's talking about all this conspiracy theory stuff nonstop, like QAnon, Black Jew kind of stuff, or Black Israelite, whatever they are. A lot of these things are just kind of like changed a little bit, and one's QAnon and one's the Black Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really into all that. He's like, I hope Biden doesn't win. We'd be doomed. And I'm like, but what if Trump wins? Won't we be equally as doomed, or maybe even a little bit more doomed? No. I was like, okay. And then, it was just all this like really way out. And then when you just tell him something that makes perfect sense and shuts him down, he goes to the next thing that they've implanted in his brain. But unlike most people, he had little books, because he goes to some center or something. He had all these little homemade Xerox copied books that somebody had given him with all this way out information in it. And I was like, wow, they brainwashed this fool in like less than 6 months. He's like a whole nother person.
Wow. So, where is this indoctrination center?
I think it's probably somewhere in in the general vicinity of Long Beach or surrounding area, I would guess, if it's local to him. But I didn't ask him all that, but I'm just guessing from his location. But yeah, fully indoctrinated. Never talked about that stuff before. He swear he did, but he didn't. He's like, I've always been saying this stuff. I'm like, no, you haven't, dude. I would have noticed.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a topic that
cats was just looking around,
mind.
rolling their eyes, like he sounded insane, dude, like crazy, insane stuff.
Well, again, this is a hallmark of a fascist society. There are always the lunatics, the serious, beyond control believers. You always get this. And whether they're created or whether they're hatched or whatever, they always turn up. You can't have a fascist regime without absolutely crazy people loving the fascism.
Yeah,
again, it's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, but then you put that religion into it, and then Trump's the guy. Trump's the guy that God chose to, because it's obvious he's president. That's what blew my mind. Obama should have never been president. And then if God didn't want Trump, if Trump wasn't with God, he would never be president. God wouldn't let anyone be president. You just said Obama should be president. So are you against God then, or is God wrong now? Make up y'all's mind. They just change it. Whatever fits their little narrative this week is what it is. And the Democrats are no better. They're all sellouts, man. I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's like before you could look at the Democrats and be like, they're so confused. They're so behind, but at least they're trying. You know what I mean? No, I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the people. The politicians have always been scum on both sides. I'm talking about the people. Because Republicans, you'd be like, they're just racist, crazy, hate-fueled. But you'd say, oh, the Democrats care. They just don't understand. They understand. They know their guy's bad. And it's really bad when you have Republicans as headline speakers at the Democratic convention and Democrats as headline speakers at the Republican convention. What's really the difference between your two parties? Because these guys have your name and they share the same views as Biden, but he's a Republican and he's a Democrat. They might share the same views as Harris on criminal reform, quote unquote, or brutalize poor black people, even as much as possible. And one's a Republican, one's a Democrat. What's really the difference? There's no difference. It's just all, like we said before, it's just all a facade.
Cornflakes or frosted flakes?
Cornflakes or frosted flakes. Yep.
And now we also have a new brand, Shit Flakes. The thing that gets me is like what you're talking about. This just proves how degenerated society has become. The so-called most powerful job on the face of the earth has come down to an image. That's it. If you have the correct image in the big contest, you too can be president. It's insane, man. It's just insane. And people look at Roman history. They look at people like Caligula, and they look at people like Nero. They say, "Oh my God, how could it get like that?" Well, they're people. We're people. That's how.
What's the difference between either one of them and Trump, really?
Exactly. It's just whether history will fully complete, Will we get an exact repetition or just a variation or not at all, It's a lot of questions. And then I'm seeing that the universe is cooperating with me. Meteor Strike 2020.
I heard about that. So, and when I heard about it, I think your name might have been brought up.
I did see somebody tweet. I can't remember who it is, but somebody did say, okay, on this day, when I say lean, we all fucking lean.
Yeah.
So
you better make it really clear if it's to the right or left. I don't think you should say north, south, east, west. Just say right or left and make it really confusing and cool at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think it would really have much difference, but, we can hope. See, here we go again with the hope.
If everybody started running due south, it might spin like a hamster wheel and move forward. Have you thought about that?
Well, I don't think people running at, let's say 8 to 12 miles an hour on a planet that is going, 16,000 miles an hour? I don't think it's going to matter.
There's a lot of people, so you got to think 8 miles an hour times a billion people. That's 8 billion miles an hour, dude. We got them beat. You got to learn to do the math the Trump way, the Republican way. It's the right way, man.
This is like the U.S. Postal Service math.
Exactly. Science. If a billion people run 8 miles an hour, you have 8 billion miles an hour. That's just how it works. That's common sense, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. Now everybody's gonna be like, "What an idiot he is!" They're gonna cut this clip. Some Nazi jackass gonna cut this clip and be like, "Look at this fool. Is this who you're listening to?" Oh my God! Speaking of Nazis, the QAnons went out last week all over the place and pulled guns on people, beat people up, maced people, tased people, just brutalized a lot of people in the name of freedom and liberty and being anti-fascism.
Well, I think this is just another manifestation of the same thing as historic events like Kristallnacht. It's the same goddamn thing. It's just a bunch of American Sturmabteilung getting out and creating mayhem and pretty much knowing that, never mind, they're not going to end up in prison. The people who can do something about it simply won't. So,
I mean, yeah, from Portland to Tujunga to a whole bunch of other places.
Yeah,
I was looking every time. It's the same thing. We've talked about this millions of times on the show. This show's like a loop. Eventually, we say this now, we'll say it again later. Hopefully, we don't have to, but we will. And we said it before. When there's the most vile people, the Nazis with swastikas, the KKK, the MAGAs out there screaming N-words and every kind of racial slur you can, telling people to go back to where they're from, flipping people off, people with weapons, people with tasers, people with big sticks, people with knives. The cops will have their backs to them like they're not any kind of threat whatsoever and be facing all the people opposing the racist every single time, no matter what the numbers are. It could be more racist, less racist, more opposing people, less opposing people. The cops will always, without fail, never once protect the other people, even when they're being attacked. And like I was saying, in Portland, Tujunga, other places all around the country, the police stood there. We've seen video after video after video after video after video after video after video, documented cases where the police stood there, let the fascists attack, let them pull guns on people, let them throw fireworks, spray people with mace, electrocute people, beat people senseless, do whatever they wanted. And then when they were done, the cops went in and brutalized the people and gassed them and beat them and shot them with rubber bullets right after they allowed the fascists to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I hate to say this, because fuck Joe Biden, you have the Trump commercials showing scenes from this with people being attacked by police and fires and, you know, people having uprisings. You know, the stuff they pay attention to, what they call violent, which is just property damage, you know. Mm-hmm. They show that and they say, is this what you want with Biden's America? But the videos they're showing are from Trump's America, quote unquote, right? I hope it is Biden's America if he wins. I really swear I do, because he's just as crooked. But somehow I think it will be less, because you know how it is. These people go along with things on their side. There's more Democrats. Yeah. The crazy stuff will happen in these little cities and towns, and
but there'll be red states, and they'll tell you that over and over.
Or there'll be little terrorist attacks by the Trump. I mean, but it's nothing. They think it's going to go crazy. It's not. Yeah. It's going to go crazy before the election, maybe a little bit after. But they think as soon as, Biden gets elected, Trump people are going to go crazy. Maybe they will. Who cares? They're going to do it either way. I mean, because one person on Twitter keeps telling me you have to go for Biden to stop hate crimes, to make less hate crimes. They agree that there's not going to be no hate. They say there'll be less hate crimes. One, I would say, how do you know that? These people are still out there. And I mean, when have the local police in those towns really cared what the racists do? Because those are usually their friends and family. And even in some of these big cities and, suburbs and all that, police are always cool with the racists because they're the racists themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their circles.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just whatever. I look at every police killing like a racist attack. Or at least at the very best, a classist attack, right?
Yes.
Or a sexist attack, but it's always something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the thing, I mean, we've said this before too. The class war is ongoing. It's just that it's being presented as a race war.
Well, here it's twofold.
Yeah.
There's a big, giant circle, and that's a class war going on. And then you have little circles within, which are other things, and one of those is a race war. Class war, race war. Yeah, there's because so many groups are exploited and treated wrong. And the problem is, a lot of groups are divided purposefully, who are the exploited and the abused and the disenfranchised and the oppressed and all that. But I mean, people got to unite. People got to get out there. I say it all the time. It's really up to us. I just don't have the charisma or ability to get the people out there. And some of the people who do are selfish, let's just put it nicely. They have ulterior motives.
Well, that's the problem. And I mean, what I'd say to that is anywhere there has been an uprising, a sustained uprising, something that actually changed what the fuck was going on. Like, Belarus is still going. So, I mean, that's one that's underway right now. Obviously it's not going to get hijacked like Maidan did in Ukraine. So we'll see what happens. But the point is, it's always a population that runs into something they haven't seen before. And it builds. And it builds. And then more people, like people falling out of the middle class and this and that. It takes a while for the society to actually get it. Never mind all the stats, all the numbers, people that and everybody knows somebody who lost their job and this is gone and that's gone. But there's still no real action because it's just happening to individuals. Now, I don't want to see the page where all the individuals are in one total, because then I won't feel good about that. So I just keep looking at it as, this guy, that guy, his buddy. Keep them all separate. And this is just, this is how people have been conditioned to feel good. Don't think about other people, because the world sucks. And you were told that at one point, but that's too harsh for your little snowflake ass. So you just worry about you and yours and treat everything else as a one-off in your 15-second attention span. And when you've got an effort where they have a plan and they have the connections to do it, and they've got a shitload of money, if they can use those three things and throw everybody else, the normal people, into chaos, they're going to run roughshod. And isn't that what we're seeing? Isn't that what's happening in the United States? Isn't that what's happening in the United Kingdom? isn't this what's been happening in Brazil? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, is there something bigger than a class war? Because this is such a small number of people in control of this show. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can end the class war quickly if the people are with it. But then you still have all the other issues the people are going to have to fight out because they're, in this country, racism is really horrible. I mean, you couldn't have this country the way it is without racism.
Yeah.
Without brutality and genocide.
And Canada is no different. I mean, I don't know what Canada would be if we didn't have the First Nations and the Aboriginals to kick the shit out of for the last 150 years. We've had the same mentality as the United States, just not quite as long. That's all.
Yeah, we have someone in the chat. Morpheus says we can have action by the power of our vote and contract laws. See my pin. There is a plan for any nation with contract law and voting rights. I don't understand.
Well, the issue is enforcement. That's, I mean, it's not like the United States doesn't have a comprehensive constitution. And as I said many times on this show in the past, if the Senate actually did their job, the U.S. would be nowhere near the edge of the cliff that they are. So, the provisions are there. Trump should have been gone a long time ago, but nobody wanted to do it. So how do you prepare for that? You can't.
Yeah, it says think of an employer. I understand that. It's just the system of voting here in the States. I don't know where you're from, but in the States, it's crooked already. I mean, a lot of places around the world is crooked, but it's really crooked here. We have the Electoral College because, quote unquote, there's less people in places with smaller populations, and they want to have bigger votes. So I mean, I'm a proponent of voting for things and not people, not politicians. Demand every candidate go through an HR process. If they do not, and someone else does, that's who you vote. Oh, I agree. I think basically Morpheus here is saying that we should have the candidate should have to be kind of vetted out and, have required things they have to prove and show that they can do, and have a basic requirement, so we don't just have a bunch of actors just because they're rich and famous working their way up into the presidency.
Well, I agree with everything he's saying in the chat.
Yeah,
those are noble ideals to work towards, but where we are right now, wow, that's a long ways away.
Well, no, he just answered it right here. Dead on. If the people united stand up, they can't stop us. Exactly. That's
True.
what we try to. That's what we try to get out. That message right there to people all the time. If we all get up and get out there and shut everything down and make our demands and work together, we could do this. But that's a lot easier said than done, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
certainly is.
It's a messed up situation. But hopefully the human race can solve this everywhere around the world, because it is important people are able to decide what they want for their own lives instead of someone else deciding it for them.
Okay, let's tangent here. Now, I know the Pope is a regular listener, but I'm just curious if there are any intelligent life beyond the planet that picks us up. And I'd say, hey, why don't you guys do us a solid? whether it's nanotechnology or what have you, help us out. Make a virus that only attacks people with a net worth over $200 million. Please. Thank you. Earthlings.
Man.
Because, this is the thing, too. Just as I said, it's such a small number of people that actually can move the needle in a place like DC or London or wherever. It wouldn't take a whole lot of them to disappear from the picture to actually, create a condition where shit can be changed in a hurry.
Yeah, it's just like Morpheus said, the people got to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And until you got the people in whatever situation is going to convince them they need to be out there standing up for everybody, including themselves. And unfortunately, that's what it is. It sometimes has to affect them before they get out there because other people don't matter.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be like that, people. We should, we should look at everybody as equals. If I matter, you matter. If you matter, I matter. That's how it has to work.
Well, I think the latest stats that I can remember seeing, and it's been during the pandemic, is in the United States, it's something like a little more than 60% of people say that they're living check to check. So, how much more is it going to take?
Yeah,
before there's just a real super problem. And now with all these evictions, oh man.
We're going to have to get over a small group of fascists and then hit the government. That's how the revolution is going to have to go. Because they're going to have their little lackeys protecting them. Or attempting to,
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm down. I don't care. I'm just like, let's get it over with. What is everybody waiting on? I just don't. It seems to me you got a whole group of people waiting to see if a Democrat gets elected. And if that happens, we're all saved, quote unquote. That's what they're saying. I think we should be out here now. We should be out here no matter who gets elected, on election day, on voting day, on signing in day, whatever it is day. Doesn't matter. We shouldn't even change the plans. If you're against fascism, be against fascism. Don't support fascism and then whine and say we'll hold fascism accountable if our fascist wins. I know I say this every week, but it's like a joke. How are you going to say that? What did we say last week? We said if you can't hold this fascist accountable, how are you going to hold the other one accountable? Because he's less of a fascist. No, whatever. Shut up. He's less blatant of a fascist. He's not less of a fascist.
He's a smoother fascist.
Smooth operator. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That I think that would help. Some people may say that's a little dark, but I wouldn't really give a flying fuck if COVID killed like half the UN Security Council. Like, whatever, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I don't think most people would. These people have done nothing for us.
Well, yeah, but who would it matter to? That fucking circle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they'd say it was a Democrat plot to poison them or something you know how that works.
Well, QAnon, yeah, look at
QAnon
Russia.
would have a conspiracy overnight for them. Explaining it all away.
Yeah, we got another opposition politician poisoned in Russia, eh? What a surprise.
Yeah. But that's nothing new in Russia. That's Russia's go-to. It's been that way for a long time.
But where's QAnon all over this shit, man? Like, I'm It's crickets.
If somebody's not getting tossed out a window or poisoned in Russia, something's gone awry, I think.
I think maybe Cassandra should head over there and see what the fuck's going on.
Can we get a GoFundMe for her plane ticket?
Shit, she just moved on a GoFundMe.
She should have moved to Russia.
She probably couldn't get a visa. My God. Now that's a tangent.
Yeah. But I mean, there you go. Somebody that changes everything they believe in, started off doing it for ego, and then decided just to follow the money. There's a lot of people like that out there now. And I don't really say anything. I don't really trip on them like that. I just watch them. And I think hopefully they'll lead the people here, and the people will say, okay, we don't need you anymore. We're all doing this. Just do it with us. Because, man, these people, their egos are huge. They jump in front of the press. They want to be the main person doing everything all the time. I'm the opposite. I don't want to be in the background hiding. I don't want to even be visible till I'm needed for something, right? But there's a happy medium, I think, you know. There's definitely a happy medium, like we're all out in here together. And you know, I maybe can get more into the group's things, you know, instead of just kind of. Actually, what I do is kind of important in my mind, so I don't know, but yeah, we don't need a whole lot of leaders. We need people that can gather people, get people together, and let them lead themselves. We need people that just can give a little guidance here and there. You know, that's what I think. That's what I believe.
You need NCOs. You don't need fucking brass that don't know shit from Shinola.
I don't know. It's not that. It's just, I don't know. I just see too many people want to be super famous activists, or maybe get into politics. Like we just said earlier, whatever their game is, it's kind of obvious and transparent. And quite a few people all across, I mean, not just here in LA, I've seen it before all over. And it's always kind of been like that here, you know. And it's like those people, yeah, like, what did they say? Op Democracy Anonymous. Anonymous had a huge problem with that when I was dealing with them. Egos and people wanted to be famous, and, you know, that was an issue I had with that. It's never good, in my opinion. Sometimes it's better just to say, you know, the people did this. The people did this. This is because of the people. You don't need to tag a name or a group or, you know, whatever all the time. Sometimes it's probably good to do, but just, yeah, it's, you know, we've talked about it all before. It's nothing new.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is you only get one Greta Thunberg once a decade. Now, that is the absolute exception to what you said about one person being able to represent a huge, diverse movement. And, you know, she got put there. But I got so tangented to shit, I never finished. And you're talking about it right here. Any real revolution that accomplishes anything, and Cory Aquino in the Philippines is an example. Nelson Mandela becoming president of South Africa is a fucking example. Leaders appear. They're not somebody who says, I'm going to lead. Those movements never get shit done. The movements that get shit done are where somebody just rises and becomes a positive symbol of the people actually in what's happening. Those people become the leaders. Then you're going to have good luck. Better luck. Because like you said, you're just talking about Anonymous. Oh, there's lots of names that flash through my mind. I think I'll just keep them to myself. But yeah, that's always been the problem. Somebody wants to get fucking famous.
Yeah, it's just it's annoying. Yeah, I know I still have a lot of people that's cool with Anonymous that are anonymous, that I'm cool with, I mean to say, but we've talked about it. You wanna Morpheus, if you wanna know my views, you can go back. It's no whatever, it's just difference in opinions with a lot of people, but I still got so much love for so many Anons. Yeah. Speaking of Anonymous, that's why I brought that up real quick. Any new news on Jeremy Hammond that you've heard? I know January 24th and 21, he's supposed to be released. I'm hoping that's still the case.
Yeah, there's been no change. The only thing that has happened in the last little bit is he's now scheduled to go into like a halfway house, and that's probably a month or so.
So he's going to be in a halfway house a month from now, or a month before?
Yeah, a month from now.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. So he'll be out. He can take so many hours a day. He can get out and work or do whatever he has to do. Then he has to be in at night and just test whenever they tell him to test, right? Pretty much. And follow
if things go well.
And follow little BS rules. Hey, I hope that's the case.
But we are talking about BOP. And, this, and it can change overnight, man. You know it. So they've done it to him before.
Yeah, you need to stop making videos. He need to sit on his hands just a couple more weeks, months, whatever it is, and then be free. Then make all the videos you want. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was it's like, oh, shit, what's going to happen now? But so far, nothing. But again, there you go. If BOP was to suddenly be the assholes, there's their excuse. They haven't done anything yet. But fuck that. Just focus on when he's going to be out.
Yeah. I'm looking at Instagram. If you're on Instagram, you can go to I_am_Amari AMARI_, and he's doing a whole tribute to Samantha right now. So just if anybody's on there and wants to see it, because I know some of these people are from LA and know who she was and listen to the show. It's I_am_Amari AMARI and then _. Yeah, for those of you just tuning in, that was an activist. We know she was big in the Occupy ICE camps and Occupy ICE LA. She did a lot of good stuff for the people. She was a warrior, and she killed herself recently. So we're just finding out just before the show, about an hour or two. So it's pretty sad news. Yeah, it's really, really sad news. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I had some interesting input in the chat for a change today.
Yeah, where's the dang Pope?
He don't type a whole lot. He's got papal thumbs. It's not happening.
On Twitter, he's a non-incarnate. I'll check him out. I don't know if I follow him or not. I don't know who I follow. I don't know who follows me. I just tweet whatever I'm thinking, check the spelling, and put it up. Sometimes I scroll through and just hit retweet when I see stuff because they don't give me my notifications anymore. Twitter is full of haters. And when I say Twitter, I mean the people who make the app because it's never giving me what I need to get that I used to get. But that's a whole nother tangent.
Well, what else we got? Something else I wanted to mention was, all these constitutionalists in the United States, considering that the U.S. Postal Service is protected as a service of the federal government, where are the constitutionalists? Not hearing a whole lot.
Does that have anything to do with guns?
Well, if you order your guns by mail, I imagine it does.
You have the answer to everything, don't you?
Well, I'm just trying to think. I'm sure the NRA isn't too happy about it, but
yeah, how do they get their donation checks? Their dues or whatever they pay.
I think they're starting to have a problem with that anyway.
Go figure, the National Racist Association. Nobody wants to join them.
Well, it's going to be interesting what happens in New York State in court. Looks like they're going to get fucked over pretty good. But again, it's about the cult of personality who leads it and spends all the money. I've never understood how year after year in surveys, even surveys done by the NRA, sizable majority want sensible gun laws. But yet the NRA as an organization opposes them at every turn. But yet these people pay to belong to this. What?
The NRA is just an idiot organization. I don't even understand the purpose. It's the Second Amendment. You have a right to bear arms. Why do we need an NRA? Why do we need an association for it? Just get your guns, do what you want to do. Just don't hurt nobody. Protect the people. It's that simple. I think that, if that's what, I just don't understand, because all these people, like you said, Constitution clearly states what you can and can't do. What is the NRA good for? Other than politicizing and making a racist organization out of people who own guns.
Yeah, the other thing that we don't seem to be hearing about that's still going on, I just saw, I think on the weekend, there's been close to 70 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. And how come we haven't heard about any of them?
I think when they say mass shooting, it's more than 2 people got shot. More than 4, is that what it is?
4, yeah. 4 or more.
Because I think well, they don't want you to hear about everybody getting shot every day. That's all you see on the news. There's guns everywhere in this country. But they want to use it to their advantage when you could fear a Muslim person or a black person or a Latino person or whatever. That's how the media works. But the thing about it is, it's just, I don't know. There's just so many guns everywhere.
Well, I find it interesting that, American mainstream news, you do see a lot of shootings, but it's always cops killing people.
Well, no, that's true. But you see more than that. You see a lot more than that. Oh, it's okay. Like you always see, a house party got shot up, or this happened, or that happened. It's just, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to, it's like, they don't show every shooting. They just show, some black people shot up a party. They don't show the white people that shot something up, in the Midwest or whatever. They're very selective with what they show and how they show it and how they portray the people involved. Like we've said before, when cops murder somebody, it's not even the cop shot nobody, police shot somebody. It's officer-involved shooting. Which almost sounds like somebody shot him or her or the cop instead of the other way around.
Or they drop their gun.
It's really ambiguous.
Yeah, it's pretty pedestrian. No shit. I mean, that's just like on the ledger when in the emergency room. It just says GSW. That's it. Like that tells you anything.
Yeah, that's
it
what
could
they
be,
multiple GSW. That's what mine said.
It's like a guy could have shot himself in the foot. A guy could have a slug in his brain. Hardly the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Morpheus here says, oh, you agreed, Glenn, but the people haven't seen it. He says background checks for all with mental health criteria and require a safe. And take marijuana off the damn list. You agreed. Yeah, I meant they manipulate the people's perception, but they don't even do that. They just show selective things so the people don't even get all the information. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, people should just, I think they should look at guns like a car, and I think we've talked about this before on previous shows, where you have to register it every year. You have to have insurance. You should have a required course before you get one, like you have to take driving school. Just little things like that, and maybe you can't have 5 million of them. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but maybe you can't have more than a couple. Like if you got a house and a store or something, you can have 2 or 4 or something. What does
but not 50.
What does people need whole arsenals for?
Yeah.
I think it was it Chris Rock that said a bullet should cost $5,000?
Yeah.
Said you really have to hate the fool if you're going to shoot him. You're like, I'm going to save up, I'm going to get a second job, and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that would definitely change things. No shit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like some of these people want to just have like rocket launchers and grenades and tanks and stuff, They want to have like the military weapons and stuff. How would you feel if your neighbor's driving down the street with a tank with hot, loaded up guns on it? Some big ass Gatling gun, and then the turret that shoots God knows what.
That is not something you'd see in a functioning society.
But I'm saying there's cats down south that want that kind of, like, if you want a nuclear missile silo, you should be able to have it. Bear arms means any arms. I mean, where does it end? Where does it stop? I guess that's all up for debate. But I mean, I don't think the government or the cops should have weapons either. If it was ideally for me, nobody have guns. Nowhere. Just destroy them all. If you find one, you destroy it. Find it and never sell anymore. That's the first step. Don't make any more. Don't sell anymore. You don't need any more. Second step is getting rid of the ones that are already here.
Well, what I was going to say is, who responds from the federal government in these situations, and it's ATF. The most famous things ATF have done in the last 30 years are Waco and Ruby Ridge. So, I don't think it matters who the president is. If there is some sort of why people armed camp like they did in Oregon, but I mean for real, and if it's in an urban area, I think a lot of people might be shocked by what the federal government does at this point in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like guns are the one thing I hate that you gotta have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I would wipe them off the planet in a second. Give me a genie wish. No more guns. Ever. But, the way it is, you forced to have them because I ain't gonna be the only one left out, That's how it works. There's crazy Nazis in the street. There's cops murdering people. There's just random wacko people too. And they all got guns. So, yeah, I mean, you need them, but I wish it wasn't that way. But whatever they can do to make less of them available, less of them on the planet, I think that would be awesome.
But then somebody's not going to be making as much money.
I don't care. I don't really care. That doesn't, I mean, let's just end capitalism then and solve that problem for them right there too.
Right on.
Yeah, hunting's different, but you know, cats ain't usually taking out AKs and like Tech 9s and crazy 100-round clips in their Glock going out to fully auto heads on there to go hunting. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's even better. If you want to get rid of all the automatics, semi-automatics, and just have like revolvers and rifles, you know, single load kind of stuff, whatever, it's even better. The problem with guns is you can kill so many people so fast from so far of a distance, depending on what you're using.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. When the cops show up with guns, they're coming with violence. Nobody has a gun that's not ready for violence, right? Whether it's self-defense or whatever. Like, I'm like, oh, I hope I don't have to do any violence. Hope everyone leaves me alone. But if the gun comes out, it's for violence. There's no other reason. It's not gonna help society. It's gonna kill somebody and maybe save somebody in the process. Maybe not. Most times it's just killing somebody. And nobody's saved. I know the movies where they get that shot in the head with the guy who has a woman in that chokehold. Yeah, how often does that ever really happen? What would replace capitalism? Anarchy. In my opinion. No gods, no masters, no nations, no borders. I'm responding to Morpheus in the chat. Yeah. I know it just sounded like I changed the subject.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, I don't know who's watching the chat, so people listening, yeah. Morpheus asked me, what idea would you replace capitalism with? And I said anarchy, an anarchist society. People helping people working for the betterment of society, technology, automation, robots working for the people.
But the people can't handle that.
What would be the currency? Why are you asking me all these questions? What do you think? What do I look like? A genius? I'm an idiot. I just know it. No, I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't need currency. Maybe you just give people what they need, and people have kind of like equal stuff, and somebody makes some cool stuff and people want it, then they can give them what they can get, like a barter system. I don't know. But I'm a fan of people not needing anything and having pretty much what they want. But I doubt in an anarchist society the things they want would be like $1 million mansions with 100 rooms, and because you'd raise people better. You tell people they need what they have, and then, you know, look online right now. You have people creating video games as shareware. You have people working together to create software for stuff. Because they love doing it. You got people coming up with cures for diseases, and I mean, that's what these people do. And a lot of people do it because they want to help people. The paycheck's an extra bonus. And there's a lot of people that do it just for the paycheck too. We got to eliminate that mentality. It just starts with raising future generations right. Like, things might not happen while we're here alive, but we're planting seeds and we're getting things, you know, the best we can as far as we can push it forward for the next people to come and pick up the fight. At least that's how I look at it. If everyone would get in the streets and get together and wake up, we can handle it now. But I ain't seen that happen, and I've been doing this a long time. Fingers crossed.
Yes, there really are people like that. People with skills and virtue and morals and ethics. They're actually out there. And everybody says, we need to get the good people back in politics. Well, you know why those people aren't there? Because they don't want anything to do with it. So what's that tell you? They want to actually accomplish something.
I was muted. I didn't pull it off that long, though, so good. What's the next question over here? Do you feel we will need to revert back to a more sustainable living and using our labor and trade? Well, definitely. I mean, it's so wasteful, I think, the way some countries do things now, and industries and corporations, especially the animals and living things like, food and things that keep people alive. They're just a commodity. People should definitely find a more sustainable way to live. But a lot of these material things that want for all these corporate things they make all the time that are shiny and new and not really better than the last thing. Like, we can all have phones. Why do we have to have these crazy $1,200, you know what I mean, phones? They make these things a lot less. And the resources will be the people's, and we share them. My plan includes a recruiting phase like an employer. Just say, yeah, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Everyone had to come up with the answers. All I know is what we have now is bad. I'm not really a communist. Socialism has a government still. I'm not a capitalist, not a communist. Socialism has a government. I'm really not into governments. I'm an anarchist. So I think the people can take care of themselves, and we don't need politicians. We need people, like we've said before, to be in a position to help the people. The community kind of leader people that if we need this, we'll share with this community over here and all kind of work it out, but accountable and transparent. Accountability and transparency has to be demanded for anybody in any position like that with any kind of power. They don't really have power. They just could probably get more supplies and hoard them or something. I don't know, but we have to make sure all that has fail safes and the people are always taken care of and get what they need, and there's no corruption. I don't have all the answers how to do that, but I'm sure there are ways. That's that. Any thoughts, Glenn?
Well, I think something that the pandemic is I'm starting to see it mentioned, not just on extreme alternate sites, but it's working its way into the mainstream. This is the first time basically in close to 40 years that free trade and globalization is not a goal right now. Not only is it not possible, but people are like, hey, fuck, we don't have any of product X. We don't make that anymore here. People are starting to catch on. In Canada, months back now, Trump stopped a shipment of 3M masks to Canada that Canada had paid for. And now there was an announcement this last week, the federal government and 3M announcing a new factory in the Greater Toronto area. So now we're going to make our own fucking masks with 3M.
That's how you do it.
But even 6 months ago, that would never happen. because there's the new USMCA to be ratified, the new free trade agreement for North America. That never would have happened 6 months ago. But it happened now. And are they going to close it down in 2 years when this shit is over? No, not if they're making money. You know, so I mean, things can be changed if people have the balls, you know, if governments are going to force these things. And again, this is something that's going to come up nonstop the closer you guys get to your election. Is Biden going to do anything to make this happen? No, not a fucking thing.
No way.
Not a thing. No way. So, you know, I mean, now it's starting to become an issue in news in Canada and the U.S. about the migrant agriculture workers that are getting absolutely hammered by COVID. They have no official supports anywhere, really. But yet, white people and everybody else wouldn't be able to eat the way they eat without these people out in the fields. And in California right now, with the fucking fires, like the sky is not clear at all. That's an understatement. And these people are out in the fields picking produce.
See, in my society, all that technology the military has with robotics would be given to people, and all the workers could chill with everybody else and let the robots pick stuff. All our fruits would be there. We could just enjoy them. And there would be no migrants because everyone could go wherever they want. That's the part about no borders, no nations. I think with 8 billion people, all with different ideas of what's awesome and stuff, everyone's not going to crowd to one place if every place is the same and free and happy. You know what I mean? And taken care of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here probably. People are where they at, a lot of people, because they kind of stuck there. And there's so many ways to be stuck.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the human race.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, it's already starting to flash into my mind. The closer November gets, have to watch South Park from 4 years ago again. Just douche, turd sandwich.
Yeah, that's what he has in here. 2 turds and pick a flavor, people. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. These 2 parties and the people they have are horrible. Never forget, Kamala's a cop.
Oh, yeah. You know, just so everybody's aware as well, for all the talk from the Democrats forever, the official platform voted on at the Democratic National Convention, Medicare for all, no, it's not happening. A couple other things that they like to talk about, no, it's not happening. Forget it. So, you know, again.
Remember change with Obama? Change, change, we can change. Well, yeah, it was the first thing he did. Bailed out some banks.
And tripled the drone war.
Yep. Attacked protesters, locked up people for decades.
But the motherfucker was smooth.
Yeah, my president, best ever. He's a terrorist just like the rest of them. He's a war criminal. I hear this one guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he's on the radio. And he, I wish I could remember his name. Anyway, it's just funny. He was naming war criminals the other day that are cool with Trump. He's like, you know, Dick Cheney and George Bush, they won't even talk to Trump. And then he's like, He was just naming all these Republicans and calling them war criminals. But he skipped Clinton and he skipped Obama. It was just funny. Like, they're not war criminals because they're on his side. That's the I don't know what it is. It's like selective forgetfulness these people have on both sides of the aisle. They forget the horrible things their people have done.
Oh, it's complete political color blindness is what that is. That's orthodoxy. That's what that shit is. You're either with us or you're a fucking heretic. There's no in between.
Yep. But I already know where it's going, man. I know the people. I've seen the people under Obama. I've seen the people under Trump. I know there's going to be about a third of these people I know or more that are going to just fall in line. Like, our guys in charge, we're okay. Everything's great again. America is what we wanted it to be. And you're going to lose that in the streets. You're going to lose that online support. You're going to lose all of that. And when you talk bad about their guy, they're going to be just as vile as the Trump guys are.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It just puzzles my mind. Just whatever your guy does or your candidate does, it's okay with you. You'll change every belief system, every moral, everything you've ever said doesn't matter anymore. Everything you ever believed doesn't matter anymore. Everything you've ever fought for and stood up for doesn't matter anymore. It's all changed now because my guy is something different. So I gotta be grimy. I gotta go against everything to bow down and crawl under whatever just to be cool with this guy. But I'm gonna do it because he's on my team.
Oh my God.
That's all you Republicans and all you Democrats listening. That's y'all. I don't even want a third party. They'll just give us something else that's just like these with a better, you know, what I say, cool story, bro.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Yeah, they all lie. I've never seen a politician in my lifetime that did what they said they were going to do once elected, from the campaign trail to election, did what they said they were going to do. Not one.
No, that's part of the audition. That's all.
So why listen to any of them? Do these people really think that it's just going to change and this guy's going to be totally honest all of a sudden? Because you know these two, neither one of them's ever been honest before in their life. They're both, you know.
Yeah.
So you already know you can't trust anything coming out of either of these liars' mouths. So I don't understand what the people are even believing in.
Well, they're just, trying to play the game, man.
I mean, I've been bashing the Democrats a lot because I want people to realize how fascist they are and say we don't want to vote for anybody. We want to get out in these streets and shut everything down. But look at Trump's people. What kind of scum are they? Why did Mexico pay for your wall? Where the heck is the wall? Wasn't that promises made, promises kept? Where's your wall? Who's paid for it? I mean, wasn't that the big deal? They all voted for him because they're just so racist. They didn't want any dark people getting in from that direction. So where's your wall?
And
people are still getting in.
Now Americans can't go into Mexico.
Yeah. I think Americans can't go a lot of places right now.
No, you can't. There was some guy caught in BC who got arrested, and the maximum fine that he can face is $700,000.
Wow.
Or 5 years.
Wow.
Or both.
I'm going to have to really practice my Canadian. So if I come down there, they'll think I'm one of y'all. Eh?
See, Canadians don't say y'all.
No, that's why I said A next.
No,
Is that
it
a
don't
good
matter.
plan, A?
No, they don't cancel out. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, wow.
It's just like when all those Americans in Tehran hid out in a Canadian embassy and got out on Canadian passports. They had to be taught how to speak Canadian
Yeah, I
because
know.
the fucking Iranians at the airport knew who's an American and who's a Canadian.
Maybe it's easier if you can dislocate your jaw so your head can flop around.
Yeah, if you want to be Ike, yeah.
Oh, man. Terrence and Phillip. Those are your two favorite famous people that I know of.
They
But
are
yeah,
legends.
how come they weren't speaking at the Republican convention?
Unbelievable.
I mean,
What a fucking circus, man.
yeah.
And like we said, it's all about a show, ratings. It's a live Trump production.
It's not live. They don't have, I mean, it might be live, but they don't even have audiences. They're just in these big sound stages that they built for this, right?
Oh, all the better. Then it's like the televangelist bullshit.
So let me just say something to all you Democrats and Republicans who donated $5 or $2,000 or whatever it is you've donated. You paid for a bunch of sets to let these people stand on a set and recite something. That's what you paid for. A bunch of BS. So they could stand on a soundstage and lie to you. Good job. I hope you're all happy with your donations and where they went.
Yeah, there's about 10 more Hatch Act violations in the last fucking 3 days, I think.
It doesn't even matter though, right? He gotten away with so many.
Yeah.
He can do anything he wants, man. And I'm almost convinced. I'm almost convinced if he just says, if Biden won and the electoral college didn't throw it Trump's way, he could stay in office and no one would do a dang thing. They just yell and bitch about it and go out in the streets.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, I really, because he's gotten away with everything, dude. There's nothing. No one's going to do anything to him.
No, this is different.
He could set the White House on fire and dance around naked, and people be like, "What a presidential moment!" They're idiots, man.
No, if there is a big decision in the Electoral College, that's it. Nobody's going to get away with not abiding by it. There's just no way. It's impossible to contain what that could cause. Like there could be a big piece of the military goes rogue. Anything could happen. It's just not good. No, it's impossible. I cannot see it.
Even with all the white supremacists that have infiltrated policing and military, and I mean, since long before 2012 up to now. And then, I mean, he's got federal troops willing to do whatever he wants, breaking the Constitution, violating people's rights. Like, it's not a far stretch. He's going to have these, like, all these branches. I mean, he has Eric Prince ready to build a militia up. There's a lot of ways he could stay in power, I think. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. It just doesn't seem like there's anybody who could stop him. And the people who could stop him are cool with him. They're like, it's great. We're in power. Doesn't really matter. And the Democrats were like, we'll yell about it, but he's good for our pocketbooks in the end.
Well, the way you're describing it, then there's one authority that will only take so much. The only thing is we don't know what that limit is. And that's the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Because say Biden wins, in a landslide in the Electoral College, and he says he's not going anywhere. And people kind of go, he's flipped out, give him a couple days. And he insists no, he's not going anywhere. So, I mean, the election's in November, the inauguration's in January. It's supposed to be transition. So it could turn into, let's convince Pouty Boy to get the fuck out. So, I mean, this could go on for a while. But if there's no movement, if this is like he's in the bunker, something will be done. And, reality is, look at their record. Would you want to fuck around against an elite U.S. Special Forces team that are coming for you? I don't think so. I mean, you guys are motherfuckers, but you're good at it.
Yeah, just for anyone in the chat, we don't monetize People's Radio in any way, shape, or form. It's for the people. So yeah, no matter what we do on People's Radio, it's not monetized. Just thank you. I just wanted to let that be known.
Yep, on their command. Yeah, but, I would counter that with saying that a lot of the military brass in the United States all came through, either Annapolis or wherever they came through, especially the Marines. Like, they all know who Benedict Arnold was. They all know who the big traitors to the United States are. And they know the history of what was done. And it's part of the U.S. myth of the greatest democracy. So they take that shit pretty seriously. So, I mean, if there's a big electoral college defeat for Trump and he refuses to leave the office, I don't think they're going to put up with that shit.
Like I said, I hope you're right. I see a lot of different possibilities.
Because think of the leverage they would have on Biden. They get whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. And
that's the buzzword there. It's the leverage.
The thing that is terrible is, think of all the power Trump has. We just talked about it. Biden's going to come in with that much power to start.
Yep. Actually, he'll have more. He'll have more if somehow the Senate flips.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be really tragic either way. Y'all just gave your whole, quote unquote, your country up over the last, I don't know how many years. You've been handing it over, selling it out, letting them do anything because of nationalism and religion or whatever the hell you people are on. Get off it. It's time to fight. It's been time to fight. And no matter who wins, it's still time to fight. I don't know. Anything you got, Glenn? Or should we wrap up or what?
No, I'm good. Everybody follow common sense. Follow what your health authorities are telling you. Let's get this shit under control.
Yeah, wear a mask, stay 6 feet away from somebody's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. Respect your fellow humans. Do things that don't harm other people. It's really that simple. Figure it out. Anyway, until next week, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Morpheus, in the chat. And we'll be back next week, hopefully.